Morning everyone, Lucky Speaks. Now I know you're all waiting for my pop music dancing video. Yeah, that one's out. I'm just going to delay that one because not sure the world's ready for me dancing yet somehow. Anyway, a little bit of an update on the old windscreen. Now you may remember I did a little thing about Autoglass the other day, who managed to do themselves out of a replacement windscreen. And it's been really strange. You know, a windscreen claim is probably the most straightforward, easy claim you can make on your car insurance. Pretty straightforward. Is the windscreen broken? Yes. Do you have cover? Yes. Okay, claim gets paid. That's pretty much what it is. Let's say I happen to have a video of you, smacking the screen with a hammer for YouTube clicks, I presume. You're going to get paid. Simple as that. So, as we all know, Autoglass the other day, they booked in the car, then decided to ring me up a few days later to try and scam me out of £183 up front, which was weird. And when that didn't work, they then tried to ring me up a couple of days before the appointment, claiming that they've never heard of the insurance company. That happened to be Zurich, one of the biggest in the world. They never heard of them, but it's okay, don't worry, I can always pay them cash. And so of course I cancelled, spoke to the insurance company, they put me on the National Windscreens. Now this is where it gets hilarious because, well, not hilarious, it gets frustrating because I've never known incompetence like it. So I'll ring National Windscreens. I've changed the number plates in the meantime. So being in insurance, obviously, I know what sort of things mess up the way things happen. So I tell the guy, I guess, look, the situation is what happened. This is how it happened. By the way, when I bought the car, it came on a certain registration number. And in the meantime, since then, I have now updated it to have my personalised registration number on the car. Just because I had a spare one. Got it on there, so you need to be aware that when I arrive, the likelihood is that the car will have the new registration number on there, not a problem. So the chap seemed to understand. I mean, it took half an hour, but he kind of got the message. Took the notes of both registration numbers, no problem at all. Booked it all in, on its way. It's booked in for today, Wednesday. Unfortunately, on Friday, when I was having a car clean, which is where those videos came from, having not been able to drive the car really hardly at all since I got it because of the fact that I had a broken windscreen. I didn't want to take a chance. Get a phone call. National Windscreens. This lady is trying to convince me that no one has ever changed a number plate before, ever in the world, history of the world. No one's ever had a personalised number plate. She doesn't understand it. How did my car have two registration numbers? So I spent another half an hour on the phone with this lady to convince her that it is legit, it is fine. I've got policy documents for the insurance on the day I picked it up with the old register number on it, and it's now been updated. Same car, same chassis number, but different registration number in the new number. Fine. Eventually, the penny drops, and she suddenly just decides she understands where the number plates come from. Thank God for that. She says, okay, she says, I'm going to go away and sort it out now so you can have the car fixed. My God, leave it a bit late, aren't you? I mean, I booked it the week before. So, it says, I won't phone you unless there's a problem. So 5 minutes later, phone rings. It's this woman again. What do you want? Yeah, what it is now, the insurers, remember now, Autoglass, never heard of Zurich, don't work with Zurich, never have, never will, don't want nothing to do with Zurich, but I can pay cash, or we'll cancel the appointment. And this lady says to me, she says, yeah, she says, Zurich confirmed they can't pay us to do the job. They've already paid Autoglass. Or first off, she didn't say Autoglass, what she said was, you're already covered by someone else who've done the job. I said, well, if that was the case, I don't need you to do it, do I? I said, no, so why would I have booked it? Obviously I need the job done. Obviously nobody else has done it. So, don't be stupid. Yeah, no, Zurich said, you've done it, you'll have to get them to sort it out. So I explained to her once again how I ended up with National Windscreens, which involved the whole story. So it's about the third, fourth time I've told someone at National Windscreens the whole story, thinking they'd enjoy the fact they're making money when Autoglass can't, because Autoglass has basically turned down a £2,000 or £3,000 job, presumably. There's, you know, change the windscreen is one thing, but with all the work they got to do on the top, they're charging for it all, aren't they? They're not in business to lose money, let's face it. They're not a charity. Anyway, so I said, look, you need to go back to Zurich and say, look, no, you're doing the job, because even though Zurich think that Autoglass are one of their top insurers, top repairers, you know, Autoglass haven't ever heard of Zurich, don't work for Zurich, and told me they're not able to do the job, and told me they had to pay cash. The fact they've got an authorised claim means that someone must have put a claim in from their point to get paid on the job, which really demonstrates possible fraud, because someone's put in a claim for a job they had no intention whatsoever of doing, and knowing how many claims people deal with like that, maybe they put the claim in thinking they get paid several £1,000 and not have to actually do the job in the first place. Maybe that's happened, I don't know. Possible. So I said they need to basically investigate what's going on with Autoglass. But can they please hurry up and sort it out, because I need to know that I'm going to get my windscreen fixed, because in the meantime I can't, in all conscience, drive the car. So she goes away. I phone my brokers and I say, look, someone needs to get hold of this, because I'm not dealing with it. I'm not their secretary. The policy itself was sold as something that basically I don't really argue over the cost of my insurance. It's a reasonable price, but they cover the house, the car, a lot, everything. And the whole point is it's supposed to be a bit of a concierge service. So I'm not going to be someone's bloody secretary, chase this around. If National Windscreens are confused, you sort them out. Or Zurich can sort them out. That's their representative. They sort it out. All I need to know is I can turn up on Wednesday and get my number plate, get my registration number done. My windscreen done. Yeah, we'll do that. So this was Friday, never heard nothing. Not surprised. Leave it for the weekend, because obviously nothing you can do the weekend. 9 o'clock this morning, I'm in the shower. Phone's ringing, can't get to it, I'm in the shower. National Windscreens left me a message. Yeah, there's a problem. Zurich say they're not gonna pay for your windscreen because you're having it done elsewhere, but you can still pay us cash. But if we don't hear from you by 2 o'clock, we're going to cancel your appointment. That's your problem. Real proper customer service, you know, absolutely. The attitude, you can actually smell the contempt through the phone. So I lose my temper. I think, no, I've got a terrible temper, so look, don't ring the National Windscreens back, because if I do, I'm going to start shouting and screaming. I'm going to offend someone. I'm going to call someone a name. I'm going to take the piss out of their pronouns or something. And that's going to be the end of the game, innit? Right? So, phone a broker. Let him sort it out. That's his job. Sort it out. So, phone broker. Do this. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible. See, oh yeah. I said, look, I want compensation now, because this is pissing me about. I'm going to have to change appointments again with clients. This is going to cost me money. No. And I've got a car I can't use. So, what am I paying for it for? I think Zurich are going to have to pay for the car, you know, for the month. Why should I pay a finance agreement on something I can't drive because of their ridiculousness? So I started getting antsy, and I said to him, look, tell them, sort themselves out, or I'll just book it in with Porsche to do the job, and I'll get Porsche to supply me with another car that they can rent, and send the bill to the insurance company. Simple as that. And I'll have a car whilst I'm waiting for this one to be fixed. And I want compensation for the 3 weeks I've been without the car anyway. The insurance costs, I ain't paying for none of it. They're going to pay for it. So I'm getting annoyed. The guy gets the message, he's a nice chap. He goes off, he's going to sort it out. No, I don't hear nothing, so I assume it's all sorted. And it's tomorrow, I'm, you know, as in today, I'm getting a new number plate, new registration, number plate, new windscreen. Yeah, that's likely, isn't it? Because at 4 o'clock, as I'm writing him writing him a little email saying, you know, just so you're aware, I ain't heard from nobody, so, you know, what am I supposed to think? Phone calls. This bird rings me from Autoglass, sounds like the same one, I don't know if it was, but it sounds like the same one as before. And she said, yeah, she's going through, and she's got about 4 million, you know, the people that annoy you, like, they phone you, but then they got to ask you 40 questions about who you are to prove data protection, when actually they only need 2 questions. Common sense. But no, she's got to ask every bloody question. And she asked the registration numbers of the car. But I know them when I got on the car. I cannot remember the one that was on there for 3 days that I looked at twice. Once when I bought the car, once when I picked it up. I ain't got a clue what the registration number is. I can't remember. I was sitting in a meeting. Yeah, what's the registration? I said, well, I don't know. I don't know the original registration number, but that's the one that's on the car. Well, I can't find the car. No, cars don't exist. According to the Department of Motor Vehicles, doesn't exist. I said, well, that's bullshit, mate, obviously. Of course it exists. And if you've got the correct registration, that's the only one that matters, because that's linked to the chassis number. No, you've got to tell me what the other number is. I said, well, I can't remember it. Well, can you find it? I said, no, I'm in a meeting. No, that's not my problem. I've spoken at length a number of occasions. I'm not going to go through it again. Well, did it end with ENV? So I said, oh, that sounds it. That's the one. Yeah, she said, well, you have to tell me what the whole registration number is. I said, I told you, I don't remember. She said, anyway, she said, all this confusion because you got it wrong. You told me it was ENU. I said, no, you just told me what it was. I never told you nothing. I never offered a number. I couldn't remember any of it. I think I had an F in it. I said, but I didn't tell you nothing. Yes, you did. You told me ENU. That's what's confusing me. I said, a couple of sentences ago, you said this is a recorded call. You told me the call's recorded, so just play it back. Don't accuse me of lying. And I'm getting annoyed now. So she's going on about this number plate. It's my fault that it's wrong. So it's not wrong. The original number plate was the EMV number you told me, and it changed to S11. But I had this long conversation. You're supposed to have notes. Anybody's incompetent. It's your lot. I said, can you have written notes down? I went through it properly. I know what I'm doing. No. She said, well, you're clearly not gonna listen to me. I'm gonna have to put you through to my supervisor. I'll have to explain to you. She said, because we're not going to get anywhere. I said, no, we're not. I said, because you don't know what you're talking about. So put me through, definitely, to the supervisor, which is calling her bluff, and she sounded so surprised when I sort of said it, because it was a threat. It was meant as a threat to sort of, shut up, don't argue with me. So no, put me through. So she puts me on hold, and I'm there for about, usual thing, they're trying to see if you can ring off and get rid of you off the phone, aren't they? But I just sit there, wait, and in the meantime, I'm typing an email to the brokers, telling them what idiots they are, and I'm really scathing. So supervisor comes on the phone, says hello. Now before she can start rabbiting off about how I'm at fault, I'm a liar, I'm this, I'm that, I said, look, before you start all that crap, I said, this is what happened. Told the girl, this is what happened. Told her about the recorded calls and that. She said, well, you know, you've confused us about the number plate. I said, no, I haven't. You've confused yourselves. I haven't offered you that number plate. I haven't told you that number plate today. I told you that ages ago, the correct number. Yeah, but I found another one with ENU. I said, give a shit. You can find one with ENF on it, whatever you want. It's nothing to do with me. You can do what you like. But I've told you the 2 correct number plates that car's had, and that's it. Well, we don't understand. It's not our fault. It's your fault. So is it my fault that you don't understand how a number plate works then? So I lose my temper, and I can feel myself, and I think, look, I'm just about to hit offensive mode where I lose my temper and I start calling them names, start asking if they had the pronouns mixed up that morning, did someone misgender them that day, you know, this usual sort of thing that I go into. And saying, keep your trap shut, you're not going to get anywhere constructive if you start shouting at people. So I said, look, not being funny, I said, I'm not going to have this conversation anymore. I said, I'm not your secretary. You're not paying me to listen to you, rabbit. I said, so you're going to have to go. I said, you go away. All I want it, don't phone me again. Speak to Zurich, speak to whoever you want. get my windscreen, confirm that the booking's square, or at least tell me what day the windscreen's going to be there. Simple as. I don't want to hear from anybody until then, because all I want is my windscreen done. Nothing else. Not interested. Don't want to have a conversation with anybody. Just, you get paid, put the windscreen in. Job done. I'll put the phone down. So I write to my brokers in the meantime, and that's it. Now I don't think I'm going to hear from these buggers, so I'm already thinking, well, my appointment tomorrow's obviously got to be off, shortly, because they haven't confirmed that they're going to do it. 5:15, this woman rings me again. This time it's, there's two models of that car, the KN GTS. There's one part, it's a 22 plate or something, or 23 plate, I don't know what it was, I can't remember what it was. But whatever it is, partway through the year, supposedly that model's changed slightly, and there's two number plate, two windscreens they can put in there. They don't know which one it is. I said, but I don't know what you're talking about. Well, you must know, you bought your car. I said, well, I bought Porsche. I have no idea what part of the model it was or whatever. I mean, you got the chassis number, you have to talk to Porsche. Well, it's not our fault. Oh, I said, hold on a minute, this is your job. You supply windscreens. So if you get issues where a model changes and therefore the spec of a windscreen changes partway through a year, you'll be aware of that because you'll come across that on a daily basis. You must have a process whereby you contact someone at each manufacturer and you can confirm that chassis number requires model A or model B. Simple as that. So you expect us to do that? I said, yeah, because like, I don't work for an insurance company, I don't work for a windscreen company, I don't work for Porsche. I'm just a customer. And you've called me a liar half a dozen times already today when I haven't. Your recorded calls will prove that out. I've just told you to go away and do your job. So I don't want to hear from anybody till you've done the job. Thank you very much. Put the phone down again because I thought, just getting silly. So I wrote an email off to my brokers last night just to say, I think it's about time that Zurich investigate what National Windscreens are doing. National Windscreens investigate themselves. Autoglass definitely need investigating. There's something not right about that. You don't put a claim form in. You know, I'm in insurance. If I didn't deal with legal in general, and a client come in with a legal in general policy, and I said, yeah, I'll sort that out for you, mate. Yeah, I'll get you that $5,000 at a legal in general. But I didn't deal with legal in general. And I said, I'll charge you and get the money back of legal in general. There's something not right about that. That ain't on. Somehow, Autoglass, there's something up there. Whether it's purposeful, who knows? But there's definitely something wrong. Because they put a claim in. Because I don't put the claim in, the form to actually claim the money. Because obviously I don't know how much the thing's going to be. They are supposed to be the insured agent. So they put a claim in saying, we're changing the windscreen on this car. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how much our fees are. This is what the VAT is. And that's what Autoglass have done that. But they've also told me they don't deal with the insurer. Never heard of Zurich. I couldn't believe it. The girl on the phone, I never heard of Zurich. It's like, what? Really? What, Zurich Insurance? I mean, part of Allianz. I mean, it's one of the biggest insurers in the world. Not just Britain, the world. They own lots of insurance companies altogether. But they never heard of them. Which I thought was weird, seeing as they're listed as one of the two main people that Zurich use. But if they cancel the appointment, they know I'm not paying cash, they know I'm not going to buy the windscreen off them, so why are they putting a claim in for the windscreen after they've spoken to me and cancelled, supposedly, sufficient that Zurich think they're doing the job, or have even, I don't even know, maybe they think they've done the job, maybe they've even bloody paid it, who knows? But the number of windscreen claims that go through every year, and I know from being in the industry that windscreens that's big business. Autoglass, and National Windscreens, big adverts, big companies, big PLCs they make millions. it's a very lucrative business. But the number of claims to me says if I was a business like that, so how much am I going to make some money? Seems to me like there's a good chance you'd get away with claiming for a windscreen that you claimed also cash off the fella for. And you only get caught out if the fella then went to his insurance. Why did I pay for that? Why did you pay for that? Which is unlikely if you've already told him maybe that the insurance company ain't going to cover him. Because you tend to trust the professionals, don't you? You know, if someone comes to me about mortgages, if I say this is the situation, they're going to trust me because that's what I do. I do mortgages. Same as if I go to a doctor who says, yeah, to cure that cold, you take this tablet. Well, maybe doctors are not, because of COVID, the COVID, the old jab, all the rest of it. But yeah, if your plumber comes around and says, yeah, the reason your tap's leaking is this washer. I mean, you don't turn around and say, I think it's pipework actually, mate. I'm going to sort the pipework out first. So if you could just leave the washer, I'll sort the pipework out and I'll prove myself correct. Now, if he says it's a tap washer, you let him fix it. And of course, if he turns around and says the tap washer was £4,000, then your bill was £4,000 and not 35p. But then again, that's typical plumbers actually, isn't it? Let's face it. Anyway, so yeah, so I think there's something going on. There's something fishy about the Autoglass situation. That they would put a claim in for a windscreen they know they had no intention of doing, certainly through an insurance company, but they put a claim in. I can't imagine, I mean, a Porsche windscreen, I mean, it could be 200 quid for all I know, couldn't it? Let's face it. But I would have thought it's probably an expensive part because it's Porsche. There's a Porsche tax, isn't there? So I imagine they're going to charge a couple of grand because they've got to set up all the sensors in the glass and in behind the glass, and that's got to be done. That's why it's supposedly a 4-hour job. I remember changing one on a Maserati with a mate of mine. It took us half an hour to change the windscreen on that. I mean, that was a 1999 car. We didn't need to do any of the sensors and all that sort of stuff. There was nothing. It was just take the windscreen out, put a new one in. It's quite easy actually. It's a real simple process. You get this special stuff and basically pull the string and it's in. But anyway, so you're going to be charging a couple of grand. So if there is a fiddle in there available, maybe someone got tempted. Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't want to say that because allegations is not right. But anyway, so that's where we are on that. So hopefully today at some point someone's going to ring me up and say, oh yeah, Steve, yeah, what we've done, we've got your windscreen, we're going to pick the car up for you, drop you off with a Rolls-Royce Cullinan for the week, going to take your car away, get it fixed for you, without any hassle, and here's a couple of grand to take the missus out, and then I'll get it back all nice and shiny and polished with a big thank you. To be honest, I certainly don't trust Autoglass, but I don't trust National Windscreens anymore. I've never, ever been called a liar by a company that I'm trying to do business with. I'm trying to pay them or have them paid to do a job for me. They're going to make good money out of it for 4 hours work. Yeah, okay, a lot of that, if it is $2,000, hey, maybe only 500 quid of it's theirs. But it ain't too bad, is it, for 4 hours work? And they call me names and picking fault. I mean, you could, you know what I mean? When you're talking to someone, you can feel the contempt through the phone. Just it's in their voice. You just hear she's thinking to herself, listen to this prick, listen to this wanker. Well, this wanker is not happy, and I'm going to make your life a misery. And I really am. I'm going to make their life a misery. But I've told in my email to the broker, I said, look, I think they're going to have to find someone else to do the job. I think Porsche have to do the job, and I think, to be fair, they're going to have to hire me a car of similar value to drive from now on in. They're going to have to recompense me for the time I've been without a car. They're going to pick my car up, take it to Porsche, store it, waiting for the actual screen to come in. When the screen comes in, Porsche will fit it, Porsche will test it, Porsche will get it ready. I get a certificate of authentication from Porsche saying it's been done properly, because not being funny, if you can't even understand registration numbers, I really trust you to change the windscreen if it's got all these special sensors in there that it supposedly takes you 4 hours to fit and all the rest of the bullshit. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure I'd trust you to go and flush the bog, let alone anything else. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll soon see, but this is a long and boring one. Hopefully you don't mind a story or two, but please like, share and subscribe if you can. If you've got some suggestions on my demeanour or what I talk about, believe you me, let me know. I'm quite happy to chat about anything you like. I'm hoping to do a few things about the old Reform Party today and things like that. They've come up because there's some funny stuff going on, and Mr. Trump's been caused a few little worries, little wiggles over in America, which is fantastic news. So I love that man, he's brilliant. Anyway, have a good day. Speak to you soon.